Nathan Beats.
What's up, guys? This your boy, Mr. I-240. I'm back with another episode today. Guys, you know how this go. We don't know how much time we got in this world, but I'll continue to give y'all another episodes and bangers and stuff like that, and laughter and stuff like that, just to ease through the pain of what's going on. Cause life is at all time real right now. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what's going on with the floods, hurricanes, future earthquakes, that stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't really paying attention what's going on around the world. And I don't mean just here, but you say you can go on TikTok and really see what's going on, or research on Google what's going on. It's crazy around here. We all gotta get our spirits right, even myself, you know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna be a time where there ain't no such thing as yeets. You smell what the rocks cooking, or your Travis Scott, your Jordans, or your PS5. So it's gonna be a time when life get real. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna have to survive on our own. I like doing this type of content, but I gotta be real with myself and real with my spirituality, with what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And what I believe, and that's the Holy Father, the Lord Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? So, but with that being said, I do got a banger for y'all right now. It's the SummerSlam main events. You know what I'm saying? Some of the best main events, 8 main events in. You know what I'm saying? So if you're new to the page, comment, subscribe, hit that notification button. You know what I'm saying? So y'all know how we do. If I gotta give thanks to the Lord, Holy Father. If it wasn't for Him, won't be no page, won't be no me, won't be no y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, you know what I'm saying, I want to give y'all some 8 bangers, backup stories and stuff like that. And I'm gonna let y'all know, I might not get that much space on my phone, so if I don't get all the screenshots and stuff like that, or sometimes my phone be like, you too full to load, baby, to load up, whatever. Don't worry about that, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna get as much as I can. And no, I got all the facts that I need, so I don't need nobody to come in and get all the facts right, but I know I got some of it right. So, with that being said, the first main event I want to talk about, Undertaker versus Bret Hart, 1997. The Heart and Soul. Little backup story. By 1997, Bret Hart and Undertaker had carried the new generation, carrying the new generation until the Attitude Era. Both legend career was already on legend status heading into the new era. But by 1997, things have changed in the wrestling world, especially in the WWE, you know what I'm saying? Because fans wanted more attitude in reality versus the cartoon gimmick, you know what I'm saying? So, and WCW was kind of ahead of them by that point. But by that point, Bret Hart had turned heel. This is when him and Stone Cold did the double cross. So this Bret Hart had turned heel. He felt disrespected by the USA fans, and so he needed help. He needed help to get the message. So he reunited with his brother and stepbrother. Y'all know when British Bulldog and Owen Hart was fighting for the European title, and Bret Hart wanted to bring the family together because he needed help. He reunited, and of course, along the way came Jim Neidhart and Brian Pillman. At that time, meanwhile, Undertaker had just became WWE champion by defeating Psycho Sid at WrestleMania 13. Backstory: Bret Hart was supposed to face Sid Vicious, but I think Sid Vicious was having neck problems at the In Your House pay-per-view, so they chose to go with him and Stone Cold again. So this feud had came together with the Undertaker when Bret Hart became the #1 contender for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam 1997. Where the angle was involved with Bret in the USA, Then of course things got worse for Brett, you know, because him and Sean had leading up segments before SummerSlam, and he was supposed to face Shawn Michaels at King of the Ring, but Brett had knee surgery. So when his familiar rival Shawn Michaels decided to be the special guest referee in the match. The feud even had high stakes at one point where Bret Hart vowed to put his career on the line. Well, not his career, but if he didn't win the WWE title, he wouldn't wrestle in the USA again. So the match happened, of course, in East Rutherford, New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? Neither man could trust Shawn Michaels as the referee because Undertaker didn't want Shawn Michaels the referee. In between the match, both guys kind of argued with Shawn Michaels. But the final moments of the match, Bret and HBK argued until Bret had spit in the face of Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels got mad, got the steel chair, tried to hit Bret, but Bret ducked. Shawn hit the Undertaker. Bret went for the cover. Shawn reluctantly made the 3 count. And of course, Bret became 5 times WWE champion. And of course, shortly after that, the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels begged after. I couldn't find the build up, y'all, but I do remember half of the match. But it was a good classic match, you know what I'm saying? Back and forth action, slow pace. It was a lot of drama that led up to it, because hell, who could trust Shawn Michaels at that time, you know what I'm saying? And Shawn was transitioning, so I don't know if he was a good guy or a bad guy. He was just Shawn Michaels, you know what I'm saying? He was just full asshole mode in 1997. But look up that match, and if y'all can find me that build up, holla at me. So, then of course, another classic match. The second SummerSlam main event, when everything was on the line. In 1992, Bret Hart had became 2-time Intercontinental Champion, where he defeated Roddy Piper at WrestleMania 8. But Bret was ready to be a main event player. So he asked Vince to put him and Bulldog in the main event over probably Savage and Warrior, which was probably going to be the main event. You know, Savage Warrior 2 was the world champion, you know, where Randy Savage beat Ric Flair to become WWE champion. And Vince said yes. So the storyline was based off Davey Boy married to Bret the Hit Hart's sister. It was a lot of tension between the guys because she really loved both her brother and her husband, even to the point where it was a lot of tension between the guys. Even the parents was conflicted and confused. Diane was torn, crying because she loved her brother and husband. Okay, now I paraphrased it. Okay, now I got it right. Even Bruce said it was Davey Boy time. He chose his stepbrother, and of course, Owen Hart chose Bret. The match was here in front of 78,000 in front of Wembley Stadium. The British Bulldog was accompanied by boxing legend Lennox Lewis to the ring in front of the home crowd. Bret came to the ring. The match happened. I got screenshots that, you know, in case you want to see the match. I ain't screenshot the whole match, but I got a couple of moments. Y'all be like, okay, cool. Screenshot number 1. British Bulldog. The British Bulldog was not giving up in the match. He put Bret on the ropes. Bulldog with the suplex. Bulldog hit the running power slam. 1, 2, kick out. No, that wasn't it. Then of course you have the classic suplex from Bret Hart off the top rope. Bret Hart at one point started setting him up for the sharpshooter. Oh, no. All right, okay, my bad, y'all. I'm reading it backwards. Okay, I got it. So, at one point, we got the screenshot where the fans was coming out. Then, of course, you had the classic stare down. Yeah, you had Diane watching with concern and nerves for both men. At one point, she was very concerned. Then, of course, it was a rope break. And at one point, okay, here we go. At one point, Bret was in control. Bulldog was back in the game. Then, of course, Bret Hart had hit a Bulldog, some classic, crazy Bulldog on that way. Yeah, he took Bulldog to the outside. Bret did a dive on the Bulldog at one point of the match. Then, of course, I think they went back to Diane. She was torn between her husband and her brother. Then it's back to what I bet. Bulldog was not giving up. Then, of course, he put Bret on the... he did the power slam. He put Bret on the ropes. Bulldog with the suplex. Even at one point, Bulldog went for his finishing move. 1, 2, didn't work. No kick out. Then, of course, it was a suplex from the top rope. Then at one point, you know, Bret Hart started shutting up for the sharpshooter. Rope break. Then all of a sudden, the finishing touches. Bulldog with the sunset flip. 1, 2, 3. And then, of course, the Bulldog became new Intercontinental Champion. Crowd going crazy, screaming for their crowning son. Then, of course, the three that came together, hugging, family. Then at one point, it was love, and it was family. So we all want to know what happened in 92. At one point, Bret went on to become the champion, and Bulldog, and months shortly after that, lost to Shawn Michaels. Of course. You know how that go. I mean, Bulldog just didn't have it, and he didn't have that backbone that Bret had. I wish Bulldog became world champion, because him and Bret had good matches over the years after that anyway. Especially that Johnny in your house in Philadelphia in DC when the Bulldog was bleeding and Bret was bleeding in the classic match. I think that's when ECW was in the crowd. And I think that's when Goldust debuted and they started doing the Razor Ramon stuff. Y'all know how to go. And plus you had the classic tension moment with Diesel and Undertaker. But it's not about that. Then let's get to main event number 3. Stone Cold and Undertaker, Highway to Hell. Stone Cold was the face of the Attitude Era in 1998. And in the middle of the Monday Night Wars, he was the top star. He was one of the top stars in the world. Well, he was the top star, actually. Stone Cold had won the Royal Rumble and defeated HBK at WrestleMania 14. Due to, of course, Stone Cold had got the stun on 1, 2, 3, but the Mike Tyson fast count killed the moment. While The Undertaker had defeated his brother Kane with 3 tombstones at WrestleMania 14. These two came together because Mr. McMahon didn't like Stone Cold being a WWE champion and, of course, the face of his company. Especially after Mick Foley, Dude Love, couldn't get the job done, not once, but twice failed. So, at one point, Stone Cold did lose the belt to Kane at King of the Ring thanks to Undertaker. Of course, y'all remember Stone Cold had got his rematch on Raw and won the belt the next night. Shortly after that, they had to build up for Fully Loaded and stuff like that. So Stone Cold and Undertaker had teamed up against Mankind and Kane for the tag team titles. And at that time, they were starting to question if Stone Cold could trust the dead man. But we know they defeated them guys for the titles at Fully Loaded and stuff like that. But But shoot, at one point you gotta ask yourself, was Stone Cold, was Undertaker in alliance with his brother? So I got screenshotted the feud stuff at this time. You know, you had the infamous the Undertaker demanded an apology for Stone Cold. You know what I'm saying? And of course, you had Vince McMahon came out doing the segment. He was like, he knew Undertaker was full of it. Then, you know, Stone Cold came out at one point. He said, look, F your apology. I'm not doing it. Then, of course, they defended the tag team titles against the New Age Outlaws. And, of course, later on in their match, they retained the titles. They even had a truth moment with Stone Cold, you know, throw a beer at the Undertaker. But doing that after that, Kane and Mankind attacked Stone Cold and tried to attack the Undertaker. Then the next week on Raw, they defended the titles against the Nation of Domination, Owen Hart, and for the tag team titles. Then of course, a showdown happened again between the two until Kane showed up. Hold up. 14, I'm in the wrong one. Okay, up here. Cool. Oh, 42. Yeah, okay. Okay, cool. Okay, I read that, misread that. Okay, there we go. They was in the fatal four-way for the tag team titles against DX, Nation of Domination, them, yeah, 3 other teams. Kane had hit the tombstone and won the tag team titles. It was one point Mankind had the metal claw on the Undertaker. Until one point they were trying to attack the Undertaker, and I think Kane had so-called accidentally hit Mankind with a steel chair. Okay, here you go. Now it's the fatal four-way. Yeah, the fatal four-way. It was Kane, Mankind. Stone Cold, Undertaker versus the Nation of Domination versus DX. Kane had defeated the Undertaker for him and Mankind get the tag team titles. And of course, at one point, Undertaker had vowed to defeat Stone Cold at SummerSlam. And then we see, I don't know what the screenshot was, but it's gonna pop up. I'm sorry, I'm left-handed. Then at one point, Paul Bearer was in disbelief. This one, Paul Bearer couldn't believe it. He feel like Kane. This when Kane had started. Him and Undertaker had came out reunited all these, and he questioned. He was trying to see if Kane really loved him, but so Kane had to make a choice between the Undertaker or Paul Bearer. So shoot, Kane chose Undertaker. Then of course, you know what I'm saying, Stone Cold had striked at one point during the segment. You know what I'm saying? And then towards the end it was Stone Cold. And then of course, Kane had got his payback against Stone Cold earlier that day. I think it was around the Hell in a Cell part when Stone Cold had attack Kane. You know what I'm saying? And then of course, in front of the crowd in a sold-out New York City arena in 1998, officially we got the Highway of Hell. Now earlier that night, Kane had betrayed Mankind earlier that night in a tag team championship match against the New Age Outlaws, where the New Age Outlaws became the WWE champion. So you gotta ask yourself, was Kane gonna interfere? We got some screenshots. Okay, you got the Undertaker. He off to a hot start. Stone Cold hit him with the clothesline. No, Undertaker hit Stone Cold with a clothesline. 1, 2, kick out. Austin gave him the middle finger. So at one point, somebody regained control. Then of course you had Undertaker going for the old school. Psych, Stone Cold counter. Then of course little brother showed up. But this time around, Stone Cold Undertaker didn't want his help. He told Kane to go to the back. Then at one point in the match, Undertaker hit the choke slam. You know what I'm saying? And then at one point, they took the match to the streets. Then of course you had the famous leg drop off the top rope when Undertaker destroyed the announce table. Man, that boy was ready to fly. Then of course, he hit the leg drop. He went for the pin, 1, 2, kick out. Then at one point he went for the choke slam again, but he missed. He went for old school reversal, Stone Cold Stunner, 1, 2, 3. Undertaker retained the championship. And this wasn't even their best match. Stone Cold didn't like that match. I don't think Undertaker liked that match. You know what I'm saying? But they did the best what they can do. And Stone Cold had got a concussion. But the build-up was beautiful and classic, leading to the Highway to Hell by the song Highway to Hell by AC/DC. I ain't trying to go to hell though, because I don't want to feel that fire. Hell no, trash. I don't want to see the devil. Not forever anyway. But I gotta clean my sins. But it's a whole nother story. Then of course, we got the Ruthless Aggression. Brock Lesnar versus The Rock. As the Attitude Era in the Monday Night Raw Wars was coming to an end, with Vince McMahon buying his competition WCW, the WWE was going through a drought looking for a new superstar, especially as the Austin run was on the verge of ending and The Rock was moving on to Hollywood. So in the meanwhile, the WWE had developed a brand new, they had a brand called OVW Wrestling, which a special class of future superstars will become future superstars in the business, where you have Batista, Randy Orton, Shelton Benjamin. But one stood out. The Beast, Brock Lesnar, a man that betted on himself. If y'all watch Ruthless Aggression, he made his debut on the main roster, destroying Rikishi, the Hardy Boys. Even moved on to King of the Ring to defeat Booker T, Test in the classic final match against RVD in the finals to become the #1 contender for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam, which led to his opponent, The Rock. The Rock had returned back to the company in July of summer 2002. This was doing when Stone Cold had jumped up and took his ball, went home. Y'all know the catchphrase. I can't get it right, but you know, that was The Rock said. But then he left shortly after that. Okay. That's the point. He returned to King of the Ring and to cause he was really trying to hit the Undertaker with the steel chair, but he caused Triple H the WWE title, which led to him in the Triple H match with Undertaker and Kurt Angle at Vengeance when The Rock became the WWE champion. So we had the build right here. At one point Brock come face to face with The Rock playing mind games. You know what I'm saying? Brock had his at one point Brock had the title in his hand. When Brock came face to face, he threw it on the ground. Then of course at one point he F5 Hulk Hogan. And plus Brock wanted to face Hulk Hogan. I think this is doing Hulk Hogan and Kurt Angle had a match to win to get to face Brock Lesnar on the episode on SmackDown. Yes, they did. So Hogan had won the match by DQ so he can face Brock Lesnar. Kurt Angle had used to steal chair. Brock started playing mind games. But at one point, Hulk Hogan got his payback on Brock. Hogan at one point baited Brock Lesnar to put his number one contender spot on the line at SummerSlam. But Brock manhandled Hulk Hogan. She put him in that Brock lock, or not Brock lock, but that bear hug. Then of course, Brock showed up on Raw. At one point, Brock Lesnar, he was bragging that he broke in Hogan because Brock Lesnar had the Hogan shirt. At one point, Paul Heyman sent a Rock the package. It was a bunch of pictures of breaking Hulk Hogan. And when the Rock was getting fed up and getting tired of the mind games. He was like, look, bro, I'm ready to fight you, bro. I'm tired. Let's go. Then of course, at one point, they did lock up. The Rock was destroying the Rock. Then of course, we get to the match. Both men fired up. At one point, Brock was getting dominated. Brock was dominating. Paul Heyman was constantly interfering. Then at one point, The Rock went for the sharpshooter. Then of course, The Rock had enough of Paul Heyman. And at one point, Brock Lesnar used a chair Brock Lesnar used a chair because Rock had injured ribs. The Rock got fed up. He went heelish for a minute, hit the low blow on Brock. Then The Rock was getting tired of Paul Heyman. Rock bottomed through the table. But at one point during the match too, fans was turning on The Rock. They was booing The Rock. And they started cheering for Brock. At one point, somebody was going for the win. Rock bottom, 1, 2, 3, kick out, wrong. Then of course, Brock Lesnar came up with his rock bottom. Then The Rock hit him with the spine buster, people's elbow, 1, 2, nope. Psych. Brock counted it. F5. No. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because The Rock counted the F5 the first time. But then The Rock got it the second time. 1, 2, 3. Brock, the new champion. And of course, Rock went on to Hollywood. Brock went on to feud with Big Show, where he won to feud with Undertaker first, then Big Show, and the rest is history. Then of course, the recent legend that died. Love him or hate him. He's one of my favorite guys, got me into wrestling, but he did that racial thing. I was like, nah, I'm good. But I'm not gonna be like some of these folks, I wish he did, I wish he died, and all this stuff, because they ain't godly. Like, I don't wish no death on nobody. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that man's sins gotta deal with, he gotta deal with, because I gotta deal with my sins. You know what I'm saying? Like my dad always say, I ain't going up there with you, you ain't going up there with me. You know what I'm saying? So, I know it's a sensitive subject, whatever, but he was a legend of what he do, and he got to deal with the consequences with the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So, you feel me? But we did get this icon legendary match between Icon versus Icon. Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan. Shawn Michaels had just came off a loss to Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 21 in Los Angeles, California. Also that same night, the Hulkster had returned to save Eugene from Muhammad Hassan and Devar. who later had issues with HBK attacking him every week until Sean won a handicap match with both men. But Bischoff said you had to get a partner. Then, of course, he asked Hulk Hogan to be his partner at Backlash, which Hogan agreed. He returned on Raw when they were attacking Sean. And, yeah. Then, of course, I got the lead ups to it right here. The screenshots of that. They had teamed up against Carlito and Kurt Angle. Then after the match, Shawn Michaels hit the Sweet Chin Music against Hulk Hogan. And fans were shocked. Then, of course, he went on the Piper's Pit, and Roddy Piper was asking him why. Shawn Michaels said at one point he just heard the chants, "one more match." And Shawn Michaels said he wanted to make sure it was him. But during that time, Roddy Piper was getting on his nerves. And he hit Roddy Piper with the Sweet Chin Music. Then there was a confrontation where Hogan accepted the challenge and the match was official. At one point, Shawn said he gonna prove that he the best because he's vowed he here every week. Then, of course, Shawn Michaels vowed to win. You know what I'm saying? And of course, he had the fake Larry King interview. I ain't on front. I just screenshot. It was funny as hell. Then the man wig came off. I forgot what he was doing right here, bruh. Bruh, that was funny in the mother. Do y'all remember the fake cramp? He. Wham! Sweet Chin Music. Down goes Larry King. Well, fake King. Then it got real. Playtime was over. Shawn Michaels was tired of playing games. Then, of course, we had the different debate. Shawn Michaels hit Jerry King Lawler. And, of course, y'all remember the fake Bret Hart, man. That segment was funny as hell, too. Now, I couldn't find the match, but we all know that Hulk Hogan had won with the overselling and all this stuff going on in that match. So I really couldn't find the match on YouTube or whatever, you know what I'm saying, or some of the websites that be doing it, shout out to TH14, you know what I'm saying, they got some of the classic build-ups on there. Go check out their channel too, you know what I'm saying. But I really couldn't find it, you feel me? So okay. But it was a classic match, even though Shawn Michaels was overselling, because I think it was a lot of professional stuff that was going down between him and Hogan. But go check out that match. Okay. I got 2 more matches for y'all, man. 2 more matches, dog. Okay, yeah, that's why I was confused at. Okay, yeah, so I couldn't find it. But, now this one, I'll buckle your seatbelt for this one. Undertaker versus Edge, Taker Revenge. Now, I put a little bit of 2007, and it's going to be a long thing. So in 2007, Undertaker had won the 2007 Royal Rumble, where he went on to WrestleMania and become champion by defeating Batista. And they had a rematch at Backlash, which was a draw. But then they had a steel cage match on SmackDown for the world title where the Dead Man won. He was attacked by Mark Henry, beaten up, brutalized. But after the match, the ultimate opportunist, the second time he had became Money in the Bank, just because he had beat Mr. Kennedy, the original Money in the Bank, on Raw to get it. to get the suitcase. Because Mr. McKinley said he was supposed to become world champion originally. But Edge came in, cashed in his Money in the Bank contract on the Undertaker, and became world champion. The dead man was put on the shelf until September 2007. Undertaker had returned to face Mark Henry Unforgiven and gotten his revenge. But he had his set focus on the world champion Batista in the series. Well, the series between Undertaker and Batista at that point was 1-0, because Undertaker had beat him at WrestleMania, and they had to draw versus the Animal. But I gotta remember, I had to rewind a little bit. Edge had became champion. He was supposed to face Kane at the Great American Bash, but I think during the segment with him and Kane, Edge had got hurt, so he was out for a few months. And so they had a battle royal for the world championship. During that time, Great Khali had became a world champion. You know what I'm saying? But I think 2-3 months later, Batista regained the championship at Unforgiven. That same Unforgiven, the Undertaker returned in my hometown, Memphis, Tennessee, against Rey Mysterio and the Great Khali. You know what I'm saying? And so heading into Taboo Tuesday, they had the fourth match. Batista needed this win at Taboo Tuesday, and he did. He defeated him at Taboo Tuesday and retained his championship at Taboo Tuesday. So the series at that point was Undertaker won, the Animal won, a draw. But that wasn't good enough for both guys, because both guys had to win. All right, here we go. So Undertaker wanted to settle the score in Hell in a Cell in Survivor Series. It was a classic match, brutal, beating. Except at one point, Undertaker hit the tombstone Batista. He was finna get the dub. Wrong. Edge came back. No hiding right. Edge came back. He returned and cost the Undertaker the championship. And Batista retained the championship. Fast forward. Undertaker finally got a chance to get his one-on-one match with Edge at WrestleMania 24 for the world title, which he won. And he beat him again at the Backlash. So I'm trying to see. I think this one he was using the Hell's Gate Tough, and Vicky Guerrero had banned the move, and he did it at Backlash again. And that's when she vacated the title for both guys. And they had a ladder match at one TLC match at One Night Stand. Except Undertaker career was on the line also. And Edge got the dub. We thought the Undertaker career was over. I think it was around the time Biggie and Edge was getting ready for their wedding or something like that. And Edge had kissed the wedding planner. And Vicky was upset, so she had to get revenge. So what did she do? She reinstated the Undertaker, which led to the infamous match at Hell in a Cell. I could have did a build up, I couldn't find a build up, so I'm sorry. Like I said, you look back at the video, you know what I'm saying? Of course, they had the return of Undertaker. He was back. You know, so they showed Vicky and the crew smiling because Edge had destroyed everybody. At one point, Edge was getting destroyed. Then at one point, Edge got the tables. Edge did this dive off the ladder with the chair. Then you had the infamous moment where they got speared through the Hell in a Cell. At one point, it got real gangster. It was a street fight. Then at one point, it was a spear through the table. One point, choke slam. Edge tried to go for the old school. Wrong. At one point, Undertaker choke slam Edge through the tables. Then, of course, the ending was near. Edge got concerto, rest in peace, Edge. Then, of course, you had the choke slam from hell when he did the legitimate Hendrix with the fire. And we ain't see Edge to November of 08 again, which is ironic. But you know what I mean. Good match, good build. And it's hard to keep, that feud was really good because it's hard to keep people interest in a feud for a year and a half, on and off, you know what I'm saying? Cause WWE be doing these quick feuds. It be 1 month, 2 months, and then all right, bro, I'm done with you. So that's why I say sometimes I think to myself, if you say what was the best feud for his attention wise in a long time, look up CM Punk, MJF. They feuded for 6 months. That's hard to carry. Now back then in '94, that was easy, but with the attention span being low and fans being fickle, go check that out. And the only reason I ain't throwing it away because I got a screenshot for y'all, and I want to give y'all the best product. We got 2 more, y'all. Then of course, the classic CM Punk, John Cena, 2011, the year of Punk. Then of course, this feud started around the time around Money in the Bank, especially when R-Truth had defeated John Cena in the title match thanks to CM Punk. Because John Cena and R-Truth was feuding before then, and not Battleground, but Capital Punishment when R-Truth lost to a water bottle. Trash. Alright. So this led to the famous pop bomb where he was talking about Vince McMahon, Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, and of course Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, because he feel like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson he didn't earn the main event. They just gave it to him because he was The Rock. Because we ain't seen The Rock wrestle in 7 years. But they went on to have the classic match at Money in the Bank in CM Punk hometown Chicago. The hostile fans booing John Cena. I remember the night like yesterday. I watched it. But CM Punk did the unthinkable. He beat Super Cena for the Dirty World Heavyweight Championship. When Vince was trying to screw him and stuff like that, he tried to send Del Rio to cash it in on him and stuff like that. But John Cena didn't want it that way. And John Cena got back in the ring. GTS 1, 2, 3. And he took the belt, blew Vince a kiss, went to the crowd. We didn't see Punk for like a month. So Raw didn't have a WWE champion. So Vince and them decided to have a tournament to make a WWE champion. Where in the finals, Rey Mysterio defeated The Miz to become the new WWE champion. But it didn't last long because Rey had to defend the title versus John Cena. Cena became WWE champion. So he thought the music hit, Punk was back, the real WWE champion. So at one point they booked a title versus title to see who's the official WWE champion at SummerSlam. And Triple H was a special referee. You know what I'm saying? That's because Punk didn't like Triple H and Triple H didn't like Punk for real and character. They had the match. One point Punk was in control. You know what I'm saying? But John Cena was gonna tap out at one point. Then of course, they were gonna be outside the ring, and Triple H brought both guys in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Punk hit I think somebody hit the Bulldog, kick out. John Cena was in the STF. Punk wasn't tapping out. He hit the ATAA, kick out. Then of course, Punk hit the GTA at one point in the match. He kick out, but then he got John Cena with the knee on the ropes. GTS 1, 2, 3. CM Punk was the original WWE champion. I think after that, that's when Kevin Nash attacked CM Punk for no reason, and Vince McMahon brought out Del Rio, and Del Rio cashed in and became WWE champion. There we go. And then of course, my last match, Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. Now this was easy to figure out because if I didn't get this built up right, then I don't know what to tell y'all. Brock Lesnar in 2014 had done the unthinkable, defeating Undertaker in New Orleans in front of a sold-out crowd in New Orleans. Sending the dead man to the hospital with a concussion. We didn't see the dead man until WrestleMania 31 versus Bray Wyatt, where he won. And meanwhile, Brock Lesnar was in a physical WWE title match with Roman Reigns until Seth Rollins cashed in his Money in the Bank contract, where Brock lost. Well, he pinned Roman Reigns and became WWE champion. He never got pinned. Brock was pissed. He wanted a rematch with Seth Rollins, but it ended in a bad way when Seth started running to the crowd where he attacked the announcers JBL, Michael Cole, and Booker T. You know, Brock got suspended. He got reinstated in July 2015. All he had to do was apologize to the announcers, and he did. And the match was officially booked at Battleground for the WWE title, where it was Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE title. Brock was dominating Seth. Was about to win. F5. Wrong. Undertaker was back. Cost Brock the championship. Hit him with a low blow. And this is always because they kept on bragging for a year that Brock conquered the streak, all that. And Brock put the 21-1. Undertaker was tired of it, and he was ready to end it. Then, of course, the SummerSlam match. Then I look back at it, I thought the match was trash, but then I watched it again, to get my information, my stats up. The match really wasn't that bad. We had a dog fight. Paul Heyman was concerned when Brock Lesnar, Undertaker was bringing in work on him. The Beast was in trouble until he woke up. Hit him with the Suplex City. F5 kick out. But at one point, Brock Lesnar started smelling blood because he was dominant. Then Undertaker kicked out of a move at one point. Then, of course, we had the infamous rise. We had the infamous raised up when they both did the laugh. All that. Then Brock Lesnar hit him with the Kimura lock. Undertaker hit him with the last ride. Brock Lesnar hit Undertaker with the F5 for the third time. Kicked out again. Then at one point, there was some controversy during the match. You had the Hell's Gate lockout, and then around the low blow time, some controversy that led to it. He had the Hell's Gate. Brock gave him the middle finger. Brock passed out. And Undertaker even the series. But I just wanted to give y'all some hot main events, some hot content. And with that being said, man, I love y'all and appreciate y'all. And the Coco be rich on the way. Like I said, if you're new, comment, subscribe, hit that notification. And right now, y'all, keep God first. Keep God first. Keep God first. And get yourself in that book. Because I got to get myself in that book. Well, get myself. I've been kind of bad. Before I started getting back in that book, I was lacking. But with that being said, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm out. Peace.
Nathan Beats.